What is up, Vikings? I hope you had a great day. We will be doing some hero testing today, and for this I got one of my clanmates, Coyote, who agreed to get a few hits from me. So what we will be testing is the following. We will be testing the new Asgard skins in the store, and these are these two, the Emperor's Envoy and the Crusher, and I want to compare them to what is already out on the market. So I will go first with the Guardian. I got my war set on. In terms of Shaman, I also get my War Shaman. I will put the Mantle of the Skies as well as the Staff of the Skies, just because that's what most people have by now. And I will then be switching between the hero skins. I will be using boosts, so I will be adding those 500% boosters and the reducers, because that is the most realistic scenario that we always have. I will do 2 hits each to see if the hits are stable, and let's start with the first one. I will use T1 for this, and I will do it in an onslaught because that is the most realistic scenario. So let's get the first hit, and we will do 2 hits to get started. 2 hits, let's compare those real quick. So we have 14.394 with the first and 14.394 with the second. Those are identical, which is perfect. This is the Guardian. Now, let's switch our hero skin to the next one. And for this, let's take the Protectress, which is my troop-specific hero skin. So let's apply this and do 2 hits again. And hopefully we get the same result. Coyote said he has a decent meat wall of T4, so let's check those. Here we have 14.5. and 14.576486 again. Okay, result is a bit higher as expected because the Protectress has plus 6% against T4 and we're going against T4. So now let's go with the next one. I will now test the Challenger, where the main benefit is that it adds march size. It also adds troop offense in an attack. Troop offense when capturing fortress in this scenario is not relevant. So let's apply this and go again with the same setup. 2 times AT1 hit. And let's see what we got. 14.850 and 14.850 again. So the next skin that we will be testing is the Valkyrie. That's the one that I use most of the time because of the infirmary capacity and because of the health, defense and offense when attacking towns. So let's take this one. I think that is kind of the benchmark, and do 2 more hits on him, and let's see what we get. $14.9. So that is the best value so far. And now let's get into the other ones. And I just had a check, those 2 hits were identical, so that's pretty nice. And now let's get into the new hero skin from the seasonal store, which is the Leader. I know I'm not attacking with T8, so you really need T8 on towns to make this work and to make it a real big difference. I'll be testing it with T1 either way, just to put it in perspective. Let's go with T1. Because to be honest, I am not using T8 that much on towns. So we have 15 million. Wow, I'm surprised, guys, that the Leader does more damage than the Valkyrie, but I assume it's due to the fact that the march size is so much higher. So later we will compare the troops killed per troops lost. There it might look differently again, but leader looking pretty nice, and we didn't even have the T8 bonus. Now let's get to the Asgard skins, the Emperor's Envoy. It has offense against tier 3. We will not have this advantage, but we will have the siege offense, which is my main troop type. So this should really make a difference. And we got offense against melee or against range. So we're not benefiting from this one, but we have the 300% on health, defense and offense. And that is already a slight difference compared to the Valkyrie, which only has 250 on health, but 300 on defense and offense. So let's activate the Emperor's Envoy and let's see what we get. Let's make 2 hits and see, and I am super curious. 15,050. And we got 2 identical hits, and that actually beats the leader and beats the Valkyrie. So right now, just in terms of troops eliminated, the Emperor's Envoy is leading. And now we got a final one left, and I'm most curious about this one, to be honest. Here we have the additional benefit of 30% against T4, and we got 400% health, defense and offense against towns, and warrior number in onslaught on towns. As I'm setting solo, this is not making a lot of difference in this test, but it might change the results if you're setting and really filling an OS. So let's get 2 hits. So let's switch to the Crusher, and I am super curious to see what results I will get. 2 hits. And let's see if they're stable. 15.465. That again is beating all the other skins by quite a lot actually. And turns out to really be the best skin so far in this specific setup, I must say. I still have the Heir of the Empire, which I can test. We can test him. I don't expect him to be a lot better in this specific setup, but we can definitely run this test as well. Get 2 hits on him. And see what we get, and we only get 14.8, which is not that bad, considering that this skin is not particularly made for my troop type and for attacking towns. Okay, now let's run a second series of tests against a lot stronger account. We're going against my chief, Jab. Thanks for letting me test this on you. And we do a second run because the percentages will change depending on your enemy's strength. So going against a stronger enemy, I assume that the uplifts will be less high. And we will also go against the same troop type. Jab is also siege, so there's no troop type advantage or disadvantage. We will go again fully boosted, no ace here, no repute, and start off with the reference hit, which is without any hero skin. Let's do 2 hits real quick to check if everything is stable. He told me he had several billion T1, so yes, this looks stable, which will allow us to run our tests pretty safely. So for the neutral hit, we killed 24,186,837. Now let's switch to Guardian and do the same. Again, a hit, and let's check this real quick. We have 24,385,660. Next up is the Protectress, which is my troop specific skin. Let's apply this and hit him one more time. Let's check the report. We are at 147,855. Now the Challenger, which is the skin that adds 150 to our march. And with this one, we only kill 24. 967, 986. So then let's change for the Valkyrie. Give him another hit. Almost at the same amount. 24,942,261. Good. Let's then activate the leader. Let's see, we are at 25,226,229. Good, next up is the Emperor's Envoy, which is this pale guy here. Let's get him equipped and see what we get. Really good looking, 25,319,473. Now the winner from last round, the Crusher. Let's see how much damage you will deal on this hit. And we have 26. That's the only skin that was able to break through the 26 million mark. And we are at 26,198,805. Highest value so far. And I honestly think it will stay like this because I don't expect the Heir of the Empire to be stronger. But let's test it. Would surprise me by a lot, and no, that does not surprise me. It is slightly less effective, but that is as expected. So overall, in this test where we go against a neutral troop type, the Protectress as well as the Heir of the Empire came out stronger than in the previous test, and the reason is because the Protectress has troop offense against siege plus 25%, which makes a big difference, and the Heir of the Empire has the same. He also have the plus 30% against siege, and all the other skins do not have this. I mean, the Guardian technically has it, but it is only 5%. Well, the offense against a troop type can really make a difference, which we have seen in this case. So we had 3 scenarios. We had the first one where we went against ranged with 25% troop advantage. We went against siege, so our own troop type, where we are neutral. And now let's go against the last scenario where we go against killers, which is minus 50% because that is the troop type that siege is weakest against. And Craig is the lucky winner to run those tests on. Congratulations. So we start again with neutral and let's get a first hit on him. So we have 13.324099 million killed with no skin. Now let's get the Guardian and hit again with the same amount of troops, and we are killing just slightly more. Now let's see what the Protectress does. Kill a bit more, 13.429 to 160. Now the Challenger. Let's see what this bigger march size does. That actually increased by quite a bit. So now the Valkyrie. So we again killed a bit more, even though the march size is smaller compared to the Challenger. Now let's take the leader and see what this does. We just killed, again, just a little bit more. Let's switch to the Emperor's Envoy. See what this does. That again is a bit more than before. And with the Crusher, we should be able to get through the 14 million mark. That is at least what I expect. And we go through it by quite a bit actually. And to complete the test, we go again with the Heir of the Empire, which is not made for this scenario. He goes better when we use T8. And yeah, this is to be expected, we score quite a lot less. So of course I put everything together in a format that is a bit easier to read. And with the first graphic you will see the total kills per skin in the first scenario, where we went with T1 siege against T4 range. The percentage that you see on top of the bars is how much more troops in percent we killed versus no skin, and the number below is the total number of troops killed, which is not so interesting. I think what you want to look at is the percentage. We can clearly see that the Crusher stands out by quite a lot. It is 8.3% stronger in this particular setup, followed by Emperor's Envoy, then the Leader. The Leader performs quite well because of the march size increase. We will see in the second comparison, where you look at kills versus losses, that it's not actually that good. Then we have the Valkyrie, which is also pretty decent with 4.4% versus no skin. Then we have the Heir of the Empire, 4.1%. The Challenger, same here, performs rather well because of the march size increase that you get with the Challenger. In the comparison kills versus losses, you will see that it is also not performing that well. Then we have the Protectress, which is my troop specific skin, 2.1%, and the Guardian, really not that good anymore considering all the other hero skin options that you have right now. As mentioned, now we look at the second metric, which is the ratio of how many troops you kill per lost unit. This is important when you want to score and if you want to be efficient with your troop usage. The number that you see here, for example, for the Crusher, 0.201. That is the killed units divided by the lost units, which means how many troops did you kill with one of your units. The higher it is, the better. And we can see again that the Crusher stands out by quite a bit, has the highest value, and is versus no skin 8.5% stronger. Then we have the Emperor's Envoy. It's 5.6% stronger, and the Leader, and that's the effect that I was mentioning earlier, because of the march size increase, where we see that yes, it kills more, but you also lose a lot more, and the ratio is in the end not as good. It is only 2.5% stronger. The Valkyrie looks quite good, 4.6%, so it is pretty decent in this comparison. Not as strong as the Emperor's Envoy, but I would also expect an Asgard skin to be stronger than a seasonal skin, right? Then we have the Heir of the Empire, pretty close to the Valkyrie. Surprises me, because as you can see here, the Heir of the Empire has 150% when you use T8 while attacking. It is not specific for towns, but you should see a stronger effect with T8 usage, and we didn't use T8. So those 30% troop offense against all troop types actually makes it valuable in the end, even in this scenario. And we have the Challenger, same effect as the Leader, not as efficient because of the increased march size, which makes you lose more troops as well. And then we got the Protectress, which with 2.3% is also only half as strong as the Valkyrie in this setup against towns, and the Guardian with only 1% plus, the weakest skin in this comparison. Now let's have a look at the second scenario, where we were with T1 Siege against T1 Siege, so neutral troop type. And in this setup we can again see that the Crusher comes out on top by quite a bit. It is 8.3% stronger than no skin, that is the highest value, and almost twice as much as every other skin tested here. Second is the Emperor's Envoy, again, followed by the Leader. The Valkyrie, interestingly enough, is not as strong. And as you can see here, it might be due to the fact that in this setup we went against T1, so we didn't have the bonus of the T4 that we went against in the first scenario. Also, we're against a neutral troop type, which means that skins that have troop type bonuses will make a higher impact. Now we have the Heir of the Empire 4%, the Challenger with 3.2 and the Protectress with 4. And in this scenario, the Guardian with the 0.7 is almost as weak as no skin. Now let's look at the ratio again. And we can see that the Crusher, again, best choice in this scenario, followed by the Emperor's Envoy, and then the Protectress comes out in third place. As explained earlier, we are siege against siege, so no troop type advantage, as the Protectress has troop offense against siege with plus 25%. That is what makes the difference. And that really shows us that the right choice of the skin is sometimes really depending on the scenario or the town that you are attacking. First of all, what troop type are you? What troop type are you against? And what tier are you using against which tier? If you had to choose one hero skin here, it would of course be the Crusher, if you can get your hands on it, of course. Final scenario is T1 Siege against T4 Killer. So here we have the highest troop disadvantage with minus 50%. And guess what? The Crusher comes out ahead again. The uplift is not that high. We have 7.5% versus no skin, which is still considerably high and making a difference. Second is the Emperor's Envoy with 4.7% versus no skin. Then the Leader, the Valkyrie, the Challenger and the Heir of the Empire are both adding 3.2%. Then we have the Protectress with 1.3%. And 0.5 for the Guardian. Poor Guardian. Now, looking at the ratios, Crusher comes out ahead again, and second in place is the Emperor's Envoy. The Leader, as in all scenarios, delivers less efficiency, which is important if you want to score. Third in place is the Valkyrie with 3.7%. We have the Heir of the Empire 0.5, Challenger 0.5, Protectress 1.3% and the Guardian 0.5%. So these four skins, that's nothing that you will want to use in this setup. So for a final statement and summary, what I did is I put everything into one slide, so all three scenarios, and calculated an average over all three scenarios for total kills, uplift, so you see the uplift in percent on average, and again the Crusher stands out by far with 8% on average versus no skin. And we have the Emperor's Envoy with 4.9%, the Leader with 4.5%, the Valkyrie with 3.7%, the Heir of the Empire 3.7% as well, the Challenger with 3.5%, the Guardian with 2.4%, and the Guardian with 0.7%. But the interesting thing is, of course, at least that is what I really look at, are the ratios. And I took the ratio uplifts versus no skin and put everything again together in one graph. And guess what? The Crusher comes out ahead again, 8.1% more efficient than no skin. Second in place is the Emperor's Envoy, followed by the Valkyrie, and then the Protectress. So if I had to name the top three ranked, it's the Crusher, the Emperor's Envoy, and then the Guardian or your troop-specific hero skin. So if you can get your hands on Crusher, it seems to be worth it. It also seems to be the better choice than the Emperor's Envoy, based on the scenarios that we tested. But I also want to make you aware that the Crusher has an offense bonus against tier 1 and tier 4 of 30%. That is what we tested against in this scenario. And if you go against something else, let's say T6, T7 or even T8, the results will most likely be different. If I had to burn a town, I would anyway use the Crusher. The reason is that most towns have either a T1 wall or a tier 4 wall. And that is, for most of the towns, the painful part to go through. And that is where you want to have the highest bonus. and that's where the Crusher comes in very efficiently with the T1 and the T4 bonus. And even though there might be a better hero skin against T7 then, out of the, I don't know, 5, 6, 7, 8 hits that you do on this town, the first 4 to 5 will go through the meat wall, and only the last 1 or 2 will go against the T6 and T7. And that's the reason why I would either way use the Crusher if you're trying to kill and burn a town. Alright guys, that is it for the review of the hero skins. I hope it helped you get an idea of what hero skin to use in which scenario. As seen, it really depends on your troop type and the troop type you're against, as well as your tier and the tier you're against. And if you kind of want the magical unicorn that does everything, then get the Crusher. That's it for this video. I hope to see you soon in another video or a stream. Until then, have a great time and cheers guys.